Hi everyone, welcome to Cast.ai. Happy to see you in another episode. I'm your host Vidushan Sylvester and the co-host Deshan Jayawardena also joining here from Colombo. So today we are going to talk about another interesting topic, AI tools for developer productivity. When it comes to developer productivity, AI have played a tremendous contribution. I mean, it has contributed to the level where even some people started believing that AI would completely replace a developer, right? So with that, let's kick started. Hi Deshan, would you like to kick off with some thoughts from your side?
Hi, to hi. Yeah, actually, I think as a day-to-day developer or like anyone who's in any industry, I think any industry would be like a correct word to say. So I think most of
Mm.
you guys like have or like use Chat GPT and like a lot of like GPT, and
Yeah,
lot of chatbots and
I mean, we can't talk about productivity without talking about
definitely.
ChatGPT for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs a significant attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my life, I am think like before it was like mostly like this Quora, those things, those kind of sites where I found now like it's like every day I'm using it.
Stack
Yeah,
Overflow.
Stack Overflow. So these days, like it's I feel like it's way fast also, right? Like to find something, like even like
Mm-hmm.
if we are stuck at something, we can get some insights out of it to like how to tackle the problem.
Yeah,
Mm,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. I mean, starting of the GPT 3.5, I believe, like, yeah, it got the attention of
yeah,
most of the audience. Was a tremendous welcome from the developer community. I think everybody started using. Like, I think those days when they launched it, for some days straight, I think Stack Overflow might have lost some traffic because everybody would be
yeah.
going to GPT, right? Find something simple. For example, let's say I'm trying to connect to a database and I want to figure out the specific connection string format for the type of database. So these kind of questions, like I always used to go for Stack Overflow or any documentation of that particular database vendor, which takes, to be honest, like more than 2 3
Yeah.
minutes. But now, there you go, ChatGPT. Just with the click of button, you get the prompt window and you asked, and within the matter of seconds you have, yeah, that's a life changing experience. In that line, have you heard about this Perplexity by any chance?
Purple XCD. Not really, not really.
Perplexity is another interesting tool I came across, like with the introduction of GPT. So
Uh-huh.
there was this problem of hallucination that GPT started creating, making up something which is not. Yeah, for example,
Ah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
say you have a CLI command, for example, for Docker. So you can follow the logs real time of a container by saying Docker hyphen f and the container ID. Right. So let's say that's an actual command that exists. But let's say there's another
Yeah.
CLI tool called ABC that you are using, which doesn't have hyphen f, but ChatGPT doesn't have any reference at all. There's a possibility. I'm not saying it will exactly do that, but I'm saying, like, it could give you something like ABC hyphen f just because it's seen such example in Docker world, something like that. So there is this kind of a hallucination effect, right? It's just making up something which is not there. To overcome that, so these few PhD candidates, while they are doing their research, have come up with something called Perplexity, where they reference every response from the internet. I think it's a free tool you can go and access online, so that you can be so sure where your answer is
Mhm.
coming from, respective of random LLM making up something, which is cool, right? I think there are a lot of tools built around, but this is something I found is cool because for most of the people, at least the researchers, it would help, but for the developers also, of course, because we always try to cut short and find shortcuts to get the work done quickly, right? Yeah, we are all running on tight sprints and deadlines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What else you have seen, Deshan? Like GPTs?
Like I have tried all the different GPTs, like the chatbots with like Gemini and things like yeah, Gemini and ChatGPT and all the other like developer, like direct developer tools like Copilot
Mm.
and sort of tools also.
To be frank,
So
like I don't write much of a code. I write a lot of code, although I'm a lead developer in the team that I'm working mostly, and some of the customers that I'm dealing with. Most of the time, I sit on top of the design and the architecture aspect. But still, I do write a lot of code. Out of the code I write, 80% of those are written by Copilot in the VS Code. I have no shame of admitting it. Uh, that's how it is. it's
I mean,
it's
I mean,
uh,
why? Well, it would be, I think, like it would be dumb, like not to use that also, right?
mm,
Like
mm,
when we
mm,
have tools, why not to use tools, right? Like I think like this something similar came like when the calculator was introduced to the world also. Like
mm,
everyone was telling like we will lose the jobs and everything, but what happened was like people started to use calculators and like solve even more bigger problems, right?
mm, mm.
So I think like no shame in using.
By no means developers going to be replaced by AI. I'm very confident on that aspect.
Yeah.
But to be devil's advocate, I can say that AI is getting more and more better day by day, and we have been seeing breakthrough performance, understanding, language understanding, spatial context, and all these. But at the end of the day, it's just next word prediction. To
Mm,
simplify things, it's just back propagation behind the scene, in the sense that you take uh, action, you understand what it takes and what's the quantitative impact on a result based on the input, which is like derivative in the mathematical term. So
mm,
that's what being used, as far as I understand. So I don't think something to be worried about. Feels like frameworks, right? I mean, when the developers, back in the days when they started developing in C and some of the low level language, they might have hard time, right? Then the operating systems came, and on top of that, the frameworks came, and then after that, the containerization came. All these like accelerated the development. It didn't replace the developers by any mean. I also think in that line, right? So what do you think? What is your perspective on that?
yeah, I think it won't replace, but I think let's say the developers who doesn't use these tools, in my opinion, the developers who doesn't use these tools, I think they will be left behind. I feel like
Hmm.
the industry will leave them behind. Like they will look forward for people who know to use these tools and like be like much productive. So like of course like person who writes this code from scratch will be slower than a person who uses ChatGPT, take the code and do the editing, right?
Absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So in my point of view, like it won't totally replace, but there will be like some kind of a lineation towards like who uses these tools, like a preference.
Yeah, and the human intervention is so much important to build a great tech. I suppose. As seen this recently, I read. Let me recall. Yeah, it's one of my lead developers that I work with previous organization. He recently posted in LinkedIn. Software development is more of a craftsmanship. It's not just coding. It's a craftsmanship, right? So his name is Arnoldo. You might have met him. I think you know Arnoldo, right?
Yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Let's give credit to him for his code. So as he said, it's a craftsmanship, right? Like there are so much of bits and pieces comes together. uh, what users may like today might not be the thing that users would like tomorrow,
Yeah,
right? You get
yeah,
what I'm saying, right? Like use experience. the seamless integrations and the scalability, all these things, bits and pieces coming together, right? It's more of like a craftsmanship. Like today, most of the people, there were in the world of civil engineering. I think there was a lot of waves going on, which uh, spreading the rumor that civil engineering is going to be automated, like with the introduction of the software like AutoCAD,
AutoCAD.
and
Yeah.
recent times there are so much of the hardware tech innovations as well. I think in the sense that have heard one of my friend worked in very good construction site here, told me that they have the walls pre-built,
Hmm.
right? So they are just bringing to the site and just fitting it.
Oh.
Okay, all they have to do is put the piles, and they are just fitting the walls in. Walls is traditional walls are already. So like they are building the houses and buildings in different materials, but all this at the end of the day enable a higher velocity. A civil engineer would have worked maybe only two projects in their entire lifetime, versus now they are working to 5 6 projects, and which improve the quality of career they have as well, and the gains
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
the opportunities they may have to switch through, unlike the software world, like we switch every 2 years or so. But civil engineering is a sort of a long time game, I suppose. Yeah, so likewise, I also think the similar analogy in software world. It's a craftsmanship is how I think as well. Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. What else? What are the other tools that you have seen, Desha? Uh, in terms of the CRM, low code integration side where you are mostly dealing with?
Yeah, so on these low code approaches, I have seen this. I mean, I'm mostly working with this Creatio platform. So they have introduced this Creatio Copilot, which is kind of a integration to the OpenAI models, which they have done. And
Oh.
they are kind of like we just need to give a prompt on the application we need, so it kind of
Mm-hmm.
builds it. It's not like 100% working, but it kind of builds the application for us. So it's like for a
Mm-hmm.
basic application, it is working at the moment. So those kind of developer, I mean, by that tool, I think they have made it
Like a
closer to the,
fundamental
yeah.
UI elements and all.
Yeah, exactly.
The pre stuff
Mm.
you can ask.
It's
Okay,
like they have made it enable
that's
the
interesting.
normal users also to like do the development stuff. Like,
I think we spoke about it in our first
yeah,
episode when
yeah,
talking about CRM as well. Yeah, I remember. I recall that. Yeah, that's an impressive step forward with an advancement of AI. Yeah, CRM tools are catching up pretty fast than any
yeah.
other tools in the industry, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, this not even in developer aspects like content creators and like
Hmm.
designers. I think they are also getting a lot of benefited out of this generative AI and those kind of concepts, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, specifically like with the GPT 4 and upwards, so that we used to have this chat interface only. Then it enabled the media. We was able to upload the content and then ask question on it, like something like then the RAG architectures evolved, and so on. Uh, so in that sense, it's pretty good to see that things are moving fast. At the same time, even the vendors are so competitive, and the level of advancement they are bringing to the table, convincing the people is pretty impressive. Like Gemini, they are putting a lot of effort. I've seen Gemini introduce so much of tokens, the largest token size, I think, which allows us to use the API and send very large files, specifically building RAG applications. Whereas GPT have more focused, very realistic responses with the given the content size. And also, have you used Cloud AI by any chance? Cloud AI, Cloud
Um,
3.
Cloud AI, I couldn't touch upon that a lot because I'm like mostly.
I think you should, because you know I have seen an impressive performance by myself that outperformed GPT 4.5 paid version. I was using Cloud AI free version. I've had these problems that I have been debugging. It's a proprietary tool that we were building a data platform where I had so much of issues going with resolving Python dependencies. So then I've been breaking my head to understand what is the conflict going on and all these kind of things, and been using GPT, Gemini back and forth, but I missed Cloud, right? So after some time, a light bulb lit in on my head, and then I went to Claude also, and then I put the entire message, and I was able to get some hint that navigated to solve that problem through after days. So likewise, I find some edge cases Claude AI is performing well,
Hmm.
specifically when it comes to code generation kind of problems, more of a more of a programmatic problem. Whereas I think GPT is good at content creation, writing emails and all
Mm-hmm.
those things. Yeah, I think that's helps a lot, right? And also, when it comes to developer productivity, uh, the main problem I face as a developer day to day is to stay focused, right? I find myself very distracted all the time, um, having
Yeah.
to deal with so much of things, sometimes procrastinating, right? Uh, so had problem. I don't know whether you agree or not. Like, do you agree with me?
Mostly.
Do you have the productivity issues?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, totally, totally.
I think everyone.
I do have a lot.
Yeah. And I've seen this, right? I don't know about the world of Android, but iOS, you might have noticed, they have introduced this called time sensitive notification and focus notification, something like that,
Uh,
which actually understand the importance of the notification and prioritize the notification, because notifications is a huge distraction. Sometimes I put do not disturb in main communication channels like Slack, Teams, and all this, because I just don't want distractions. When I sit and focus for 1 hour or 2 hours, I want my brain to be like fully focused on that piece of problem and solve it through. So at the time, like, I don't know. Whereas these focus modes, time sensitive notifications, all these kind of things helps me keep on top of notification, at the same time maintain my focus. I don't know how they do it. It's like a magic, but I personally feel it's absolutely improving my productivity. I'm able to um, focus without being distracted by too many notifications. At the same time, uh, I also feel uh, the small touch of AI in each and every tools that we use day to day basis. Uh, not only the you know uh, the developer tools. I'm not talking about the VS Code and things like that. But think about a platform like Google Meet. Think about a platform like Microsoft Teams, right? So the advancement of AI in noise cancellation, adding a
mhm.
background, generating a background for you, you turn on the video camera. All this makes you
Yeah.
available everywhere, right? You don't have to worry about being out there in the public or in the coffee shop. Still, you can attend a meeting and you can sound a little more professional than what you would be without a noise cancellation microphone or the proper background, right? So these kind of things, small things, adds up a lot of values, lot of time saves, because you don't have to travel to a specific place to be there and have a good background and all those kind of things, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So these kind of things I see significant improvement
Yeah.
altogether, right? Each and individual features are adding up like few minutes throughout the days, but at the end of the day, if we accumulate everything, I think we would have saved more than an hour by leveraging these tools. What do you think?
I had just have one question on that focus notifications. How does it prioritize? Like, do you have like maybe a, like kind of a set of applications or like contacts or something? Is that how the prioritizing it?
Yeah, honestly, I don't have an idea about how this algorithm works. It's sort of a proprietary algorithm, I think. It's basically
Mhm.
learns the pattern of the context that you frequently interact with, the messages that you replay, open, and the kind of the content that written in an email that is given to you, just like spam filtering that you have in your mailbox, right? Speaking of which, spam filters also got
Yeah,
better
yeah,
with generative
very much.
AI. Yeah, and so that also implies to improve productivity for developers. But yeah, out of that, coming back to your question, yeah. So I think it's understand the context of the notification, and it helps the notification to stay on the screen without prompting it to your face and disturbing you. You get what
Oh,
I'm
right,
saying?
right,
It won't ring up your notification bell. It will stay in the screen, but it will stay in the screen for longer time.
right, right.
Okay, so when you get back, so you still don't miss that notification. That's there, but it doesn't disturb you. Something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've seen it. It worked out pretty well,
Mm, interesting.
and also, uh, yeah, not all the developers are just developing. We do create content, right? Like we record podcast, right? And then uh, we do write blog articles and all these kind of things, right? I think there are also a lot of tools are benefiting. Like for example, if we take this podcaster, they bring a lot of AI because there are a lot of background works goes behind this podcast. For everybody who is listening, you may think it's just a recording of two random people in the internet, having a fun chat for 30 minutes. But it's not the case. There are a lot of background work, research, and the editing, pre-production, and then publishing. All this kind of stuff goes behind the scene. Uh, I've seen with the help of AI tools, it has helped me. Specifically, the if you take the platforms like Podcaster, so they have this auto noise eraser, noise cancellation, and you can automatically get suggestions from AI to add background musics for a podcast. It's not only for the podcast. When it comes to the content creators in the YouTube, it's also same, I suppose. We don't create content in YouTube, but I think it's same for the YouTube creators. And then I was writing a blog article in the Medium this morning. I have seen slightly improved recommendation when I type. Sometimes I just copy the things and put it to ChatGPT, ask it to correct spelling and grammar. I often do that, but today, surprisingly, I didn't have to because the auto correction was good, and the next word suggestions was appearing. I don't know; it's a new feature Medium came up with, but I found it really easy for me to navigate. Right. So these kind of things also helps the creators, the developers who are creators.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And I have seen this some of these repos. I mean, GitHub repositories. So these actually, this is more to the UI developers, which actually like image to code kind of a models, which is like utilizing this GPT-4 models. I tested couple.
Oh, like
So
vision
yeah, vision
models.
models. It's like it's also pretty interesting.
Mm-mm.
Like you can give a screenshot of the.
How does that work? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, basically what you have to do is like kind of like take a screenshot of your preferred view, like maybe a scratch or like whatever you done the UI uh, plan design. Then you just need to import it, I mean upload it.
Mm-hmm.
Then it runs through this vision model
Mm-hmm.
which suggests the code actually, like in any framework, or like mostly it's like UI frameworks like React, or maybe like plain HTML or something like that. But it kind of builds the structures.
Saying oh, okay. What you're saying is it generates a JSX file or
Yes.
HTML or Angular
Yeah.
HTML, whatever the framework that we use, generates that. Oh, scaffolding. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Something
that's
like
good.
so.
I think it's still a popular. There's still a popular problem like centering the div for the front end devs.
Have to try that. Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully the front end devs would be able to center the div with this tool. What's the name of the tool, Desha?
It's like the name itself was like text to code or something like that. Uh,
Is it a free tool?
yeah, the tool is free. Like we need to get the subscriptions for this GPT-4 and those the vision models which we are using. The repo
Hmm.
is free, and I mean it's open source, and
It's an open source.
yeah, and it also had some features like it's under development. I think we can contribute to that also. Like it's on let's say we take a screenshot of the, I mean not a screenshot, it's a screen recording of the screen, and give it to the model, then it's performing like much like that's the expectation of that functionality. I couldn't test that because it needed this cloud and some other model subscriptions. So I have
Hmm.
to try that also.
Okay,
That I
okay.
think that would be a very nice feature because right, like building the structure is what takes a lot of
Mm.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do agree. I'm not a front end guy, but occasionally I do front end. Yeah, I do understand the pain of putting up a scaffolding for a front end project, like React
Yeah.
project specifically. I have had hard time with React. I don't know. Angular was more structured framework, but with React, yeah, yeah, styling is always
Yeah.
styling and alignment. Also, when it comes to the productivity tools, so that specifically when it comes to the tracking of task, uh, time logging, these kind of features, have you seen any
Mm-hmm.
improvements with AI? Like just I've been using Notion for a long time. I see Notion AI just helping out pretty well, but I think it could do a little bit more than what it meant to be for that extra subscription. Because for Notion AI, you have to pay extra monthly basis on
Uh-huh.
top of your Notion Plus version. It's sort of a bad use experience. I think we should highlight the cons of the AI getting into the productivity tools as well, right? So one of that is the unfair subscription fees and all.
Subscriptions,
Anyway,
yeah.
maybe there could be some people, group of audience who may get benefited from those features, but I'm not the kind of person who is getting benefited much from that. But I see those kind of tools integrating AI. Maybe they are just figuring out how to work it out best
Mm.
for everyone.
Yeah.
But have you seen these AI features getting involved with this project management, task management kind of
I mean,
tools?
yeah, like I mean, this mobile applications and stuff. I have, I mean, tested out some apps like random apps, which is more giving the
Mm-hmm.
like suggestions on prioritizing the tasks. So when we type in the task and like give the task list which we need, it kind of prioritizes them based on the task description.
You mean it put it
Yeah,
into order,
order like
something like that?
priority
Oh,
orders. Yeah. So that kind of features I have seen
hmm.
across some random like applications. Um,
Actual real world usage like project management tools when AI coming into the picture. But I still see there's a lot of gap and improvement needed in that
exactly.
sense, right? Like
Mm.
managing the task and all those kind of things.
I mean, even let's say a backlog prioritization. I think like the models might be like, yeah, we'll have to.
Oh man,
Yeah.
talk about sprint
So
planning. Yeah, we'll have hard time. Have like some of the teams that I have worked with in the past takes hours in
Yeah.
code just to pick up the right task from the backlog and put it into the current sprint. And everybody is confused where to go and what to do and all those kind of things until the product owners take the uh, but it's more of like in product owner's head
Hmm.
than a developer, but at the end of the day technical task falls matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have. Hmm.
Hopefully,
Speaking
Jira
of
will
product,
introduce it soon.
Jira, yeah. Hope,
Yeah.
hope to see in Jira. Most of the cases, some of my friends also have been using Jira, and I choose Jira myself in many past projects. Jira, Asia, what it called Asia, I think DevOps board, and
Mhm.
then yeah, sometimes people use some of the project name like Twilio, not Twilio. What is that? I
Miro.
forgot the name of it. There's another one. Yeah, Miro, and there's some other uh, project management tool also I heard. Anyway, so yeah, those are the tools, right? So we are hoping the best for that
Yeah.
side. But we can't skip talking about the recent Apple Intelligent, right? From the last the announcement from their side when we talk about productivity, because seen the inspiration of adding the AI infused into their products itself. So they don't give you just a chatbot. Okay, I don't know whether you have seen their keynote. They don't just give you a chatbot that you go and ask anything, right? Uh, they are solving the hard work of figuring out what you exactly need in each and every software tools that they have in their platform, right? For example, if you are interacting with Siri, it's seamlessly integrated, and if you are interacting with nodes, I don't know whether you have seen this demonstration math nodes. Have you?
Uh, Not really. Um, yeah.
I think you can do that in your phone also. Okay,
Mhm.
I think you can do that. But if you have iPad and Apple Pencil, it works best. So basically, how it works is it's integrated with Calculator and the Notes app. So you go to the app, right,
Mhm.
and then you write an equation and you put the equal sign. You get the answer automatically generated in your own handwriting.
Mm.
Okay, and then you write an equation something like parabola, and you tap on the equal sign and click on insert graph. The equation you written will be there as a graph down below, and you write another equation and then again tap on the equal and insert another graph. There will be another line on top of the same parabola which already drew. So it's so crazy to see how that whole thing works integratedly. I know there are a lot of prompts going back and forth, and the processing, neural processing happened in the NPUs of iPhones, iPads, all these Apple Silicon chips. But you know how it makes the end user experience is so cool. I think that would help a lot of students, specifically I think who is attending math classes,
Mm.
even the developers who are trying to get into the world of neural network training and all those. They need to learn a lot of math. Some There are some developers I have met, even myself sometimes, do math problems. We do solve math problems just to keep our brain active and fresh, that it's ready to solve some real world problems in the programmatic world, right? uh, there's a whole different argument whether you need a math for programming, but it's indirectly
Yeah.
help, right? Yeah. So not only this math not, I have seen so much of AI infusions from Apple in this Apple Intelligence demonstration. I'm using the developer beta version of iOS 18 and the macOS Secure. So I have seen this feature already rolled out in the devices. Hopefully, the rest of the features that they have demonstrated in the event also would be available soon for the users to try out. I'm eagerly waiting for the Apple intelligence. I hope that will cut off most of the time that I'm spending with third-party tools. Yeah, uh, I think I think it would be a game changer, at least for me. Yeah, with that, I think we are clocking on time. So I think we had a good conversation, and we covered through many uh, different tool set that helped out developer productivity. Would you like to add something else there, Shan?
Uh, I think we covered. I mean, whatever I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, yeah. I think what we covered down whatever we had in my
Yeah.
mind, right? So it was a good chat. Yeah. So I think with that, let's meet on another episode then.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. See you.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Bye.